Hello, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talks. Todd Talks, people listen, hopefully. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one because it's time to talk about the next episode of Death Battle, which is going to be the Mega Man Battle Royal. Now, if you recall, there have been exactly two other battle royals in Death Battle history. The first was the third episode, I believe, with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going up against each other, and the second happened with the Pokemon Triple Threat, which technically wasn't a battle royal, but between Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur. So this has been a long time since a battle royal has happened, and that's actually pretty cool because it makes it really unique to this season. So yeah, and they picked the absolute possibly best one they could do in regards to true battle royals because they have five Mega Men to debate about. Now, again, if you haven't heard about why they chose these five Mega Man, some of them were obvious. Mega Man, X, EXE, Volna. Those are all standard. I knew Star Force for various reasons, and then I know there's like the Archie Mega Man. They didn't choose that one, likely because the comics are just way too overpowered, and various other things. But they chose these five because of the Smash Brothers final smash that Mega Man has, where the Backstreet Boys, I mean the Mega Man crew, come together to do the final smash. If you get the Backstreet Boys reference, I'm glad you watched the internet. But yeah, so these are the five Mega Man they are debating, and so I'm gonna make it perfectly clear right now that though I did do my research, though I did do my job in finding out as much as I could about these characters, there's way too much to comprehend here. I'm not even joking because some of these Mega Men are so vastly different than the others that it's going to be really hard to determine who wins, which is why I'm sure these guys slightly regret doing this because it's so insanely complicated. I honestly can't wait to see this death battle just because I want to see A, how long it is, B, how in depth they go with some of these characters, and so on and so forth. So yeah, and then the battle itself is just gonna be crazy. And this is one where I'm actually kind of glad it's in 2D, just because even though the models were made for Smash Brothers, it's a little bit different, and some of the things that would be very costly 3D. So stick with the 2D here. That's where all of them started their lives at. Uh, Actually, I'm not sure that's true. No, yeah, that's true. No, wait, Volnut. Volnut was the only 3D one. So there you go. But yeah, this is gonna be insane. So let's just get started. All right. Mega Man Pure. So we're gonna divide these up. So we got Mega Man Pure, X, Volna, EXE, Star Force. Okay. So Mega Man Pure was created by Dr. Light. He was actually an earlier prototype of one of the robot masters that he and Dr. Wily were creating. And he was only Mega Man, aka Rock, was only supposed to be an assistant. But once Wily went, what's the word? Evil, and decided, hey, I'm going to take all the robot masters for myself and try and take over the world. He went to Rock and made him into the super fighting robot, Mega Man. And yeah, and we all know what happened from there. Mega Man is incredibly strong and fast. We've had Mega Man in Death Battle before. I didn't. This was before my time at Todd Talk, but we've had Mega Man in Death Battle before. So you know about the various fighting system where every time he's beaten a robot master, he's gotten one of their abilities. He's strong enough to hold up Wily's castle, which is 60,000 tons. He is faster than lightning, which, if I recall, is 230 million miles per hour. So he's faster than that because that's what Quickman was, and Quickman was as fast as lightning. Um, his various system allows him to use fire, electricity, black holes, magnets, shields, a whole bunch of things. And he's defeated hundreds of Robo Masters during the, wait for it, 10 games. No, 11 games. There you go. 10, 1. 10, 1. There you go. Stupid thumb. The 11 games that he's got, and I love that they're using what was it, the double gauge from Mega Man 11. Apologize if I said that wrong. So he's got even more power than before. So, and of course, he is incredibly endurant. He has used his abilities for various reasons, and uh, his charge shot is incredibly powerful, etc., etc. You all know the drill. So, yeah, Mega Man is Mega Man, and he's the original Mega Man, and so there's no other way to start us off. So, moving on to Mega Man X. In the year 21, uh, humanity has embraced robots because of Dr. Kane, who discovered a new version of Mega Man X. And using Mega Man X's style and programming, he created the Reploids. But because of some programming flaws, they became more sentient than he desired, and unintentionally created the Mavericks. And of course, this is also where Sigma comes in, but that was part of Zero's story. So that just go and watch, Zero and Sigma's episode, and you'll find out all about them. Anyway, so Mega Man X was actually designed to be not just morally pure, for lack of a better term, but a pacifist because he didn't want to fight. But when the Mavericks started going crazy and Sigma just started destroying everything, Mega Man X just realized, I can't do this. I have to fight. So he did. And he did really, really well. Now, like Mega Man Pure, X has his own version of the barrier system where he can copy and mimic other abilities. If you saw the preview, you know all about them. I'm trying to keep this short because this is going to get so crazy. Um, he has his Mega Buster, but he also has the Z Saber from Zero, which makes him really powerful and able to slice through pretty much anything. He has various transformations that he can do, including a couple that'll make him like very super powerful, and they were teasing a couple others. So there's that. But what really strikes Mega Man X as something special is that he was built to be superior to Mega Man Pure in every way. So not only is he stronger than Mega Man Pure, he is faster and he's more endurant, which has been shown because he beat the General, who had enough had enough endurance himself to withstand an attack that would have blown up the world, which is a lot if you saw the preview or the Sigma virus or the Sigma episode, etc., etc. So yeah, he could take that. He had enough energy within him to destroy all of Japan, which kind of seems kind of small now when you talk about him being a guy who could take a world shot. Yeah, and so he is like the pinnacle of what Mega Man could have been had Dr. Light made him certain years earlier. So, which really would have screwed Dr. Wily, but that's neither here nor there. So Mega Man X has done a lot. He's defeated Sigma numerous times. He defeated the General. He dodged a light speed attack, etc., etc. He saved the world multiple times. Battled Zero, killed Zero. Then Zero killed him, and then he killed Zero again. It's Mega Man X anime style. Let's just move on. Mega Man Volnut. This one was interesting because I loved the original Mega Man Legends game, but I hadn't played in a long time, so I had to equip myself, if you will. So, yeah, sorry. Imagine my surprise when I found out that Mega Man Volnut was actually two different people, kind of. So what happened was that on another planet, or another world, for lack of a better term, another planet, world, whatever. He used to be a guy called Trigger, and which is hilarious in numerous reasons. And Trigger was what they call a purifier unit, which many people liken to the Maverick Hunters from Mega Man X. But he was not Mega Man X. Let's be clear here. He is not Mega Man X. He is another character entirely. So Volnut was this purifier unit, and he was tasked with fighting rogue robots and keeping certain things safe, including this special unit, the Master Unit. Sarah, I believe the name was. I apologize. I'm trying to keep all these names and numbers straight. It's really hard. So this was his job. He had to protect people, he had to protect the Master Unit and defeat all these rogue robots, and he did that. He did that very well. But then things started to get wrong, and the Master Unit's final command for him was to destroy the Master Unit. But before he could do that, a rogue unit came by, basically erased his entire memory and sealed him away to not be disturbed. Yeah, like that was going to happen. So enter Barrel, get it? Barrel, Trigger, who found Mega Man but still had his memories gone and raised him to be basically his grandson, and thus became Mega Man Volnut. And though he did eventually gain his memories back, Mega Man Volnut spent most of his time doing archaeology, finding refractors, helping out Roll, and just doing whatever he could. So he's technically not as advanced as some of the other Mega Men because he had a much more simplified origin and ability slate. For example, like if you remember the Mega Man Legends games, you can outfit him with certain weapons. That was never an issue, but he can't do it on the fly. I'm sure they'll adapt that because I'm sure they'll use Marvel versus Capcom and say, "Oh yeah, he can adapt on the fly." He couldn't in the games. I remember that specifically, but he's got various weapons. He's got drills. He's got rocket launchers. He's got the Mega Buster, of course. Um, he's got various other weapons. He honestly doesn't use a helmet that much. I always found it interesting. Uh, he can absorb energy to an extent with some of the crystals, if I read that correctly. Apologize if I didn't. Um, he has a shield that can last for a certain amount of time. And he's defeated the Trombones and various other robots on his quest to get more and more refractors. And as we all know, he also has one of the greatest cliffhangers in video game history because he was eventually trapped on another planet with Sarah, and whoever this is now the bad guy. Sorry about that earlier. He was trapped on another planet with Sarah, and we don't know what happened to him because Mega Man Legends 3 never got made. So, yeah, not better at all. So, Mega Man.EXE. This is the wild card. I really think it is. This is the wild card here because Mega Man.EXE does not take place in the real. Okay, let me revise that. Mega Man in this world, EXE in this world, does not exist in the real world because in the world of EXE, the internet is everything. Why does that sound familiar? So, but here, the internet connects to every single part of real life, like no joke. So, like, it's not just your computer, it's not just your phone, it's your lighting and your business and your ovens and your gaming devices and your television. Everything is connected to the internet. Everything can be found and powered through the internet. So naturally this goes wrong and viruses have occurred. And so to counter these viruses, the humans made what they call net navies. And basically they're like avatars for video games, except they're conscious, they're real, and they listen to the commands of humans to an extent. And so Lan was your stereotypical anime protagonist, and he didn't have a proper net navi, and he wasn't getting what he wanted. And then his dad came along, gave him a net navi called Mega Man.EXE. Ahaha. Mega Man, of course, was stereotypical Mega Man size, but he had a lot of power, a lot of abilities, and it was later revealed that he was actually the reincarnated spirit of his brother Hub, who died when he was really young because of a rare heart disease, and then his father got his data and reanimated him as Mega Man because why not? So, Lan and Mega Man work together to defeat various versions of net navis. And through the course of that, Mega Man EXE has gotten a plethora of abilities because he's got, honestly, one of the most robust video game series out there in regards to the Mega Man series. Like, I know it literally goes like Mega Man Mega Man Pure had the most. I think that EXE had the second most. I might be wrong on that, actually. I guess it's all up to interpretation because I'm pretty sure there were 12 EXE games and there's only 11 pure Mega Man games. So, it's all about how you see it. But so Mega Man.EXE has fought all sorts of versions of the Net Navi Robot Masters, for lack of a better term. And he's also fought viruses. He's fought base multiple times. He's fought cyber beasts. He's gone to the dark web, because why not? And through all of this, he's gained more and more and more powers, which has allowed him to do all sorts of crazy things. Like the cyber beasts, he actually is able to fuse with them and what they call beast out and gain a lot more power. He also can do soul fusion, which is he gains the powers of their net navis that he has allied himself with, and of course he has the ability to absorb certain powers from certain net navis. And then Lan has the ability to insert chips with him like video game chips, and give him special powers and abilities like swords, busters, and or cannons, and more. So that's a wild card too. Now, if you're wondering, well, how are they going to bring EXE to the real world? That's a loophole because there is a thing they call cross fusion, which is where Mega Man and Land can like fuse so that Mega Man can become part of the real world. And in that case, it's actually two of their minds working together as one. However, it only works in what they call a dimensional area. So more than likely, the death battle will have the dimensional area, and then Land and Mega Man will fuse, and that's how the battle's going to go. So the problem with Mega Man EXE is that it's hard to discern his feats because it's all cyber related. So you can say, oh, he had a attack to wipe. So you can say, oh, he fought a guy who had the power to wipe out the internet. But what does that mean? You know? So even though I can tell you now I'm not picking EXE, if there was a wild card in this whole thing, it'd be EXE, just because of the fact that uh, due to him being on the internet, it makes it difficult to calculate some of his attacks. So we'll just have to see how it goes. And finally, Mega Man Star Force. Another one that's pure anime in every way, because this is about a kid who merges with us. I think the technical definition was a spirit called Omega-EXE, because why not? And I completely am blanking on the kid's name. I'm really I think it's like, was it Leo or something? Leo, Geo. I think it was like star related, and I don't remember. See, this is how much I have to remember. It's like I'm forgetting one of the main characters' name. That's how much I'm trying to remember here. So, Mega Man EXE, Mega Man Star Force, as he's called, um, is a fusion between this kid and Omega-EXE, and they do exist in the real world. So, and EXE is actually what they call an EM creature, which stands for electromagnetic creature. And there are other ones like him. This was actually based on the Zodiac, if I remember correctly. And he has to go and find these EM beasts and defeat them as Mega Man, so that the world can be safe. And there's a whole bunch of like side plots and everything. It's an anime, uh, as well as a video game. So it gets pretty complicated. But it's he has a lot of the same abilities as the regular Mega Man's. He has his Buster, he has his sword, he has a shield, or a barrier shield. He can also absorb the power from, I think they call it 3 Elder Satellites or something like that, to gain even more power. And so, yeah, it's really complicated. And I honestly won't go into this one, because by the time I got to Mega Man Star Force, I was burnt. I was burnt, Dad. No, but but he's defeated a lot of creatures like him, including beasts who took over other humans involuntarily, or tricked them into becoming hosts for them, so that they could do what they needed to, destroy the earth and get what they want. So he's got a lot of power himself, and he's been able to power himself. Star Force has been able to increase his power various ways throughout the games and the anime. So there you go. Okay, the question here is, who is going to win the Mega Man Battle Royale? Well, the irony here is that we can already eliminate 2. We can eliminate Mega Man Pure, for the sole reason that Mega Man X is specifically stated to be stronger than the regular Mega Man, better than the regular Mega Man in every way. Faster, stronger, farther. Wow, that sounds familiar. It's higher, faster, farther, but whatever. It's stronger, smarter, faster, and we can prove this because Mega Man X has done things that are beyond the 60,000 tons that Mega Man Pure held up in Wily's Castle. And so Mega Man is faster than lightning, but Mega Man X dodged a light speed attack. That's entirely different. So Mega Man Pure is gone. We can also eliminate Mega Man Volnut, because despite the fact that he's had a certain popularity to him, he's still not as advanced as the other Mega Man. And because of his games, he hasn't had as much experience. Again, he's only had 2 games, not including the Marvel vs. Capcom series, which doesn't count because it's not really canon. So, sorry. But, he's very sorry. He's not as advanced as the other ones, and his feats don't match up. So we can eliminate Volnut right there. Again, the wild card is EXE. because it's hard to calculate the cyber attacks to real world attacks. And yes, he was in the real world eventually, but those were in very specific circumstances, and they didn't do everything there. And most of his feats were rooted in the net. So I'm gonna put him to the side just because I can't calculate that, and I look forward to see how Death Battle calculates that. But that's for them to do. Star Force is another wild card because I read about some of his feats, including fighting a bad guy that apparently had the power of a universe. But was that just extrapolation? Was that just being anime and saying, "Hey, let's give the guy with the power of the universe and then have Mega Man defeat him"? It's kind of tricky to discern. So I don't know if I can, you know, trust those descriptions. And even though he's defeated other people who have, definitely had the power to level buildings, I remember the anime well enough. Um, it's clear that there's a lot of interpretation going on. And so for me, I have to go with Mega Man X because we know his feats. We've seen him battle Zero, who was already incredibly powerful, as you remember from the his own death battle. And so, but just between him and Sigma, Mega Man X is incredibly powerful, incredibly strong, incredibly fast. And even though the Battle Royale will make it really crazy to, you know, pick out, I feel that Mega Man X, with all of his abilities, with all of his strength, he has the ability to resist things like Time Stop and other things. So I don't think there's anything that the others can do to hurt him. And the wild cards here are Star Force and EXE. But I don't know. I think when it all comes down to it, Mega Man X is going to stand tall. Now I'm going to caveat this with the following. I probably shouldn't do this, but in the essence of being fair and truthful, I'm going to do this because it's such a crapshoot because of all the history and all the lore and all of that. Regardless of whether I win or lose, I'm not going to count this against me or for me. So if Mega Man X wins, I'm not going to count this as part of my record. So it won't be a win and it won't be a loss. But so no matter what happens, my record is intact. But no, I'm doing this because seriously, this is way too much for me to discern on my own with the time I have. But because I bet you it took months for them to play all the games and do everything. So I'm gonna pick X. This is my official pick is X. But if I lose, I'm not gonna be mad because that's a lot of stuff to go through and I just don't know. So there you go. So with that, I'm ending this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win the Mega Man Battle Royal and why? Let me know in the comments below. So I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you're listening. It's time for a death battle, and I'll see you around.